ओके नमस्कार भाइयों बहनों। आज हम डिस्कस करने वाले हैं हाउ टू हैंडल द ग्लोबल एक्सेप्शन इन स्प्रिंग बूट। ओके, also I will tell you that local exception how to handle and global exception. Okay, so for handling the global exception guys, we have to utilize this at the rest controller device. So this is the annotation given by the spring boot framework. So this annotation actually it is the combination of @controller advice as well as @response body. So basically like uh, you can say that if error is if any method any handler method is returning any error, that would be converted into the response body. तो यहाँ का इसका मतलब ये है कि अगर कोई भी जो हैंडलर मेथड है हमारे पास, आप देख सकते हो यहाँ पर वी हैव ए हैंडलर मेथड, वन मेथड, दिस हैंडलर मेथड इज हैंडलिंग द resources not found exception. This handler method is handling the invalid input exception, and this handler method is handling the exception dot class. This is the you can say super class, you can say, for exception, for all type exception. Okay, and these are the you can say the customized exception. I have created this invalid input exception and another one is that resources not found exception. So basically what I am doing here, you can say I created the map actually. Okay, so you know that map containing the key value pair. So this is the key, error, message, status, timestamp, and corresponding key we are putting the value here, and ex.get message. Okay, so that exception, you can say this is the resource not found exception. Whatever message is given, that message you are putting here. Okay, and this is the http status basically. Okay, so now this is my global exception I am handling, you can say, and this exception class actually this is, you can say, global exception, and whatever exception is here, like this class is supposed to handling the 10 exceptions. So all 10 exception we can, you can say, utilize throughout the application, you can say. Okay, so suppose resources not found exception, let me tell you here about the resources not found. So this is the class, this is my customized class, you can say customized exception I created, like in core Java how we were creating the customized exception, user defined class exception. So this is my user defined class exception only, and it's extracting from runtime exception. Okay, and we are putting one argument constructor and putting the message, whatever message you assign. Okay, and then you can say what is the response status not found, I put it in the other way. Sorry, for other customized class there is another customized class. This is the customized class exception, invalid input exception I created, and product not found exception also, you can say. So these are the user defined classes, you can say. So now this is the global class, you can say, which is handling the globalize, this is handling the exception globally actually. So in the application, suppose if any method or any controller is returning resources not found exception, so this handler will be responsible for handling that exception. In the same way, if any controller is returning the invalid input exception, so this is the handler which handle this invalid input exception throughout the applications, you can say. And these are the we have configured this exception, messages, status, timestamp. So how I'm handling, let me show you here. Okay, so you can see here, this is the API created delete mapping, and under the delete mapping API I am passing the ID and just put it the condition. Okay, so this is, you can say, business requirement. So based on the business requirement, we will be checking the input, business input, like whatever client is sending the input, and those input, and based on that, if input is invalid or input not matching the business requirement, we will be throwing the exception, you can say. So here you can say if id is less than 0 or id is greater than 0, we are saying that invalid input exception. So product id must be greater than 0. Any customized message you can throw, you can pass it here. Now the another one, product not found exception. So hard coded, you can say 404, and here we are passing the id. This is another API, and it's saying that product not found exception if it is 404. So this is I hard coded, you can say 404, you can say that resource is not found here. Yeah, but basically I just for understanding purpose, just I providing this statement. The another one, you can say there is a id dot is empty, id dot is blank, so resource is not found exception. So if this condition is matching, okay, we are throwing the resource is not found exception. Basically you can write any logic here, and you can check your business requirement, and based on that you can throw the exception. Okay, if not, business requirement not matching, okay. And this is, you can say, local exception within the controller. You can say this is my controller. Okay, this is my REST controller class. So same thing, controller at the controller is just leaving the controller, and REST controller at the REST controller means